There might be music later. Anyway, hello everyone, welcome. It's been a while since I've been on stream. For those of you who are new to our community, my name is Sally. I am the head of digital partnerships at WDC, helping all of the amazing fun things that we do with the gaming and streaming communities. And with me today is a familiar face to some, a new face to others. Emma, do you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, hi everyone, I'm Emma. I'm head of Safe Seas at WDC, and I had the joy of being here last year playing Spilled, so I'm really excited to get to play it again. But our team works on a range of issues, things like fishing, bycatch, protected areas, offshore developments, just trying to make the seas a safer space for whales and dolphins and all marine life. So yeah, really excited to talk a bit more about that today.
Yeah. Like Emma said, we played the demo for Spilled a few months ago. Maybe last year.
I think it was last year.
Yeah, last year. So first time playing the released game. Super exciting. I'm excited to see. It's going to be hard for me to just watch and not play because I love this kind of game. But yes, amazingly, we have been partnered. We've partnered with Lente, the developer for Spilled, and they are very kindly donating 10 cents US dollars per sale on Steam to WDC, which is amazing. So and I think it only costs like £6 on Steam. So if you want to support WDC and grab a really fun game at the same time, every purchase on Steam of Spilled is supporting WDC directly. And Spilled will be in our World Ocean Day Steam sale, so you can also wait until June and get it for a little bit cheaper, but still know you're supporting WDC. So more to come. We'll talk more about World Ocean Day. But how is everyone? Welcome Gabby and Zion and Savage. Thanks for the resub, Zion. Always appreciate the support. Dr. C and Nemit, hello. How is everyone today? It's quite warm already in this room, so we didn't open the window because it's quite loud, but we will see how we fare in this room. I'm
quite a sweaty person, so we'll see how we get on.
But we're playing a nice chill cozy game, so that might cool us down. But yeah,
exciting development from last time, because I was having a bit of a practice just before we logged on. When you save the animals, they seem to have special names, so that's quite fun. I saved a duck called Wilfred or something, which was exciting.
Yes,
so
I think they might be names of backers from the Kickstarter or something along those lines, which is really fun. So it's quite cute seeing a frog with a very specific name. Zion says he's better now and can relax today. He's been so busy even after leaving work. It's been pretty manic today. A lot of stuff going on because we do have our World Ocean Day. World Ocean Day is just around the corner. 5th to the 12th of June is our World Ocean Day Festival. So it's a big streaming event. So if you're a streamer or a content creator, you can join our event to fundraise for us. But we also have a massive Steam sale running alongside that, where we've got like 200 games on sale, all donating a percentage of their net revenue to WDC during that week. So it is pretty... we've got a bot in the chat. Someone wants to deny. There we go. You got it. Thanks, Gabby. We're hoping it's looking like it's going to be our biggest one yet, our biggest event. We've got loads of great people getting involved, loads of cool games in the sale. We're going to start kind of sharing a bit more information on which games are in the sale. So keep an eye out on our socials over the next few weeks.
The sales are amazing as well. After the one last year, I went and bought loads of packages and then was ill for 3 days. And I sat and played The Wandering Village for 3 solid days in bed, coughing. My partner had to come and be like, "You've played about 20 hours of this game. I think you should probably go to sleep." But I'm excited to spend all my money on this.
Strategic illness.
It's for work. Yeah,
So
big fan.
yeah, super excited about World Ocean Day. So that's our next big thing coming up. And you may have seen we started to talk a bit about on our socials as well. That me and Gabby are going to be at TwitchCon exhibiting for the first time this year. So we're going to have an official WDC booth. So if you're going to be at TwitchCon, it's in Rotterdam, and it's the last weekend of May. I can't remember the exact dates. I think it's like the 31st of May to the 1st of June, like literally that last weekend. It's in Rotterdam, and if you're going, do come and see us. Come say hi at our booth. We've got a little game you can play. You can enter a competition to win a really cool keyboard. We're giving away some merch, and it's just nice to say hi and see people. So we're really excited about that, and we'll probably be doing a lot more stuff on socials about that as we get closer and during the event. But today we are playing Spilled, and we are gonna ask Emma lots of questions about marine pollution, safe seas, entanglement, what your favourite whale and dolphin is, anything. But you can also ask Emma, just to get to know her. So should we hop into the game?
Yeah, let's do it.
And if you want to select new game,
Not that one.
there we go. How is the game sound? Yeah, reset. Yeah. We did a bit of practicing earlier just to make sure it was all working.
I was a bit rusty. Yeah, I didn't want to embarrass myself in the first few minutes with reversing endlessly for 5 minutes. There was a bit of that. But look at me now, I'm a pro.
It's quite a quiet game, so it's just like ambient sounds and a bit of nice music. But if you need it higher, volume's good, nice.
Also just incredibly calming. I found this last time as well. I sort of floated out of this room. I've sucked up all of the oil and gas pollution in the water. Solved it.
I love it. I like I don't know, is that some sort of brass instrument, like a trumpety bit? It's so nice.
Oh, dang, I have too much.
Oh, your little cube is full. So yes, this build is a game. It kind of says on the tin. It's a game about oil spills, as you can see, or marine pollution, kind of in general, because there are little plastic bottles and things you can collect. But yeah, you just control this little boat, which I think might even be solar powered, judging by those panels on the roof.
Which we love to see.
Yes.
Oh, here we go.
Crowfoot! I love it. I love frogs. Anyone who knows me knows that I really love frogs and ponds.
Favourite frog?
Well, I really want to get African dwarf frogs.
Oh, my friend got them. You have to feed them bloodworms every single day.
No, I read online that you need to feed them like fish flake type things, because that was like my only thing. It's like I really want a pet frog, but I can't handle like live crickets or anything like that in my house. I wouldn't be able to deal with that.
Oh, she seems to feed hers live bloodworms, which I thought was absolutely wild.
Okay, I maybe have to rethink my whole
All your plans.
dreams.
They are cool though.
But yeah, they're super cute because they're like fully aquatic frogs, so they just swim around in almost like like a fish tank. They're really social, so you get them in little groups and they chirp and they're just super sweet. But I also have 2 cats, so I feel like they wouldn't last very long. So
Are they not? They're not in water. Oh my.
African dwarf frogs are like fully aquatic.
Yeah, those are the ones I'm thinking of.
Yeah.
I've just upgraded in an upgraded Hoover. Very
Nice.
exciting.
But yeah, so Spilled is all about cleaning up the ocean, and so as you progress through the game, cleaning up all the spills, you'll see that the water gets clearer and more vibrant and full of life, and then you can save little creatures. Who's
this going to be? Aaron Dunbar.
Aaron Dunbar.
Gosh, what a rescue.
Aaron Dunbar is a great name.
That is an excellent name.
I already have my names for my frogs picked out.
Do you?
Yeah,
What are they?
I was gonna get 2 frogs, and one was gonna be called Jean Bob, the frog from Swan Princess, and the other one was gonna be called Lisa, after my old university housemate, because she asked me once when I was first verbalizing my frog dreams the first time. I was saying this to her, and she asked me what my names were, and I said at the moment I only had one name picked out, and then she was like, "Oh, you should name it after me," and so now future frog will be called Lisa.
I love that. I already have the names picked out for the cats I'm definitely going to have. I'm going to have a grey cat called Pluto.
Amazing.
He's going to be a rescue, and his best friend is going to be Cosmo, a black and white cat. And if I get a big, one of those proper fat ginger tabbies, I'm going to call him Mr. Bumble.
Yes.
My partner and I fight on this regularly because he doesn't like the whole Mr. thing, and he is just incorrect. So.
Well, you can give him he could just be called, because I had a cat called Bumble.
Did you?
That one, yeah. But you could call him Bumble, but then as any pet owner knows, they have their official names, but then their nicknames evolve over the years, and they end up with a completely different name at the end of their life. So
my cat was called Coco, but I used to call her Bella, Kibbles, Tishnagums, Little Miss Snufflington.
Yeah.
Just add extra ridiculous names and all of those.
So we had one of my childhood family cats.
Oh, look at this! We just got a bigger Hoover.
Oh, nice. One of my childhood family cats was called Russet after the apple, but he died Brendan.
Brendan.
His nicknames evolved so much throughout the 16 years that he was with us that he became Brendan in the end.
That is an excellent name. I quite like when they have like a human name.
We are going off track, guys. I'm sorry. We're talking about animals.
I can chat to you about oil and gas. If that's of interest.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Gabby's asked the question. She said that David Attenborough has just released his final documentary, The Ocean, or Ocean. Emma, you've seen that, haven't you?
Oh my gosh, yes.
So what were your thoughts on
10
Ocean?
out of 10. If anyone hasn't seen it, I think it's still on at cinemas at the moment, or if not, it's out on Disney Plus on the 8th of June, so World Ocean Day. So you can, if you want, just get the free trial for a week and watch it. Absolutely phenomenal. I mean, I am a bit of a wuss, so I wept continuously for the entire hour and a half. Because it was just really, really inspiring. It talks a lot about the issues in terms of offshore industrial fishing, bottom trawling, which is these massive nets that they drag along the ocean floor. And, you know, it was kind of mad for me because I work on these issues every day, but actually seeing the footage of what happens when they're dragging these nets along the ocean, it honestly made me cry. It was horrific.
Bits of oil.
Just a bit. Okay, we're going back. But I think what was really amazing about it as well is it really had quite a strong message of hope at the end around how, you know, it isn't too late. We do have time, and we just need to kind of call for governments to take more action. And I think what's really exciting is it talks a bit about the UN Ocean Conference, which only happens every 3 years, but the next one is in Nice in France. Oh, we're investing into the more fuel. I've been ignoring that. Where we're going to be going as WDC and calling for greater action on things like bycatch, which is when animals get accidentally caught in fishing nets, like whales and dolphins that we're not, you know, trying to catch for fishing, but also offshore developments. So a lot of people don't know that renewable energy in offshore sites is really important, but it actually can be quite destructive to build these wind farms because they have these massive basically hammers that pound the ocean floor. Some of the pile drives they're looking at, they can be 10-meter diameter, which is just massive, and that noise can actually kind of displace whales and dolphins because it's just too noisy for them to hunt and to live, sometimes up to 40 kilometers away from the site. So if you're thinking about all these developments around the UK, there's just not much space left for wildlife to exist if they're being kind of scared out, and it could also cause, you know, hearing damage and animals. Oh my gosh, sorry, there's a lot going on here. Oliver. Animals becoming deaf. But the good news is there are really cool technologies that make it less harmful when they're building these sites. So my favourite one is called a bubble curtain, and it's exactly what it sounds like, a little curtain of bubbles around the massive hammer. So yeah, we're just doing a lot of work in the UK and internationally to kind of call for these technologies that we know work to be required when they're building these sites. Hopefully that will make sense. Sorry, I could talk about these things for hours, as you can probably tell.
That's what you're here for.
Yeah, wall of bubbles. They are awesome. Bubble curtains.
And is that hard for the kind of construction energy companies to implement?
Yeah, it's not super easy because if you think you've got these massive wind farms, the way they do it is they lay these hoses on the ocean floor, and the hoses have little holes in, and then they sort of pump air through in the little bubbles. Joe. Yeah, they pump the bubbles through. So it is extra cost and work, and obviously they're then needing ships to go out and kind of roll out these pipes. But it does have a big sort of positive impact in reducing the noise and just making sure there's more space for not just whales and dolphins, but a lot of other animals to exist in their homes. But yeah, if anyone hasn't seen Ocean, 10 out of 10. We love David.
He is an absolute legend.
I'm very stressed that he's 99. That makes me very stressed.
Yeah.
We need to figure out how to make him immortal.
Maybe he is.
Maybe he is.
Yeah, I haven't seen Ocean yet, but I'm hoping to catch it. I might do
loads of money. Sorry, it's just suddenly got absolutely dollar. What should we get, guys? Should we get the speed fuel or the scrapey thing? I'm a sucker for the scrapey thing. I don't know why. I just find it very
the length,
collector.
The length of the collector, size of the collector.
Give me tips. I will fulfill that.
Gabby's asked, when the wind farms are actually up and running, how disruptive are they to whales and dolphins?
That's a really good question. So less so, because obviously most of the kind of spinny bit is above water, if you will. So then it becomes a bit more of concern to seabirds flying past and smashing into turbines. And the main thing, I guess, is just ships coming to maintain and service the sites. And ships create noise as well, which can be... the speed did mess me up last time. Well remembered. We're staying away from that. I got too quick and I couldn't cope with it. Yeah, so it does still create some noise, but it is much less disruptive than when they're building them. Peaches. Which is why it's important that when they build them, they think quite carefully about where they put them, because it's not just the construction. A lot of the time when the animals are kind of displaced from the area, they might not ever return. And some of these wind farms are massive as well. It's not just one kind of set turbines. It can be, kilometres and kilometres across. But we support offshore wind, and offshore wind is great, and we definitely need to do it. But we just need to do it in a way that is, lower impact and not in the most important areas for our marine life.
Yeah, I think like most things in life, there is no absolutely number one perfect solution to anything.
No.
Everything's going to have some form of kind of adverse effects on something, but there are better things than others. So, offshore wind, although it does have its issues in terms of installation and disruption to habitats and things, it is still so much better than fossil fuels, and the damage that fossil fuels is having on the planet in so many other ways. I vaguely remember you have like...
Oh, I had a squirty thing.
Yeah, but
how did I get that? I had a little... For those who weren't here last time, I had like a little
like a hose
water
pipe.
gun.
I wonder if we go to the controls, go to options.
Favourite thing.
Have a look. Spraying. Oh, it's the up button.
Oh,
okay.
Have I been missing out on this the whole time? Okay, how do I go back? Just B.
Yeah. And then again when this menu comes up. So the up button.
I'm just suspicious because this is different from my GameCube controller, so my brain is struggling.
Yeah, so we're using a PS5 controller, but I have written in pencil against the buttons what A and B and X and Y is versus triangle, square, circle, and X. So,
anyone online a big fan of the old GameCube? I am a big fan. I replayed Wind Waker recently and was incredibly happy.
Oh, Zion says it might be Y. Oh, there you go. Okay, it's Y.
Oh, to spray.
Yeah.
Oh, we'll have to clean up all the bits I missed.
Yeah. Yeah, I never had a GameCube. As my T-shirt currently is showing off, I'm a little PlayStation gal through and through, all the way through my whole life, from PS1 to 5. So, had an Xbox at one point, but only really so that I could play Fable and Left 4 Dead, and then I was just PlayStation. Had N64.
Oh, we
as
had
well.
an N64. I used to play Mario Kart on that.
Yes, Mario Kart, Mario Party, and Smash Bros.
And was it the James Bond Goldfinger?
GoldenEye.
GoldenEye,
Yeah.
yeah.
So I
Absolute
never
classic.
played GoldenEye, but I had Perfect Dark, which is like
Is it
the
similar?
alternative. Yeah.
My brother didn't used to let me play a lot of the games. Anyone with an older brother might
Yeah.
understand.
Yeah.
Well, I watched him play that, but he did let me play Ocarina of Time, which is one of the best games I think of all time. Although, my God, it goes on forever.
Gabby says that she never had a GameCube, but she had the handheld Nintendos, and Zion had the N64, and then went to PS2,
Legolas.
and then got an Xbox as well.
The full evolution.
Yeah. So, because Matt or Zion or Matt, when he's working at WDC, he was playing one of the remastered Tomb Raiders yesterday on our channel, because it's one of the games available in another event that we're part of at the moment called Thanks for Gaming, where you can purchase certain games and they will support WDC and another charity called Global Gift Foundation with a donation. But I was saying that I had the original Tomb Raider demo on PS1, so I wasn't much help, but it was bringing back some memories of sitting on the floor in the living room with my brother.
Oh, it's so nostalgic.
Yeah.
During lockdown, my brother lost his job and I moved home, and it was just all around a bad time. And we replayed Wind Waker. But it was very nostalgic.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Mum shouting upstairs, "Kids, shut up, Mum, we're playing games." I was like, oh God, too old this to be in my brother's childhood bedroom playing video games. But it was great. We recently got into Skyrim as well, so we've been playing a lot of Skyrim.
I love Skyrim.
It's good. I'm always just a fan of an adventure game. I'm not as interested in the like shooting ones.
Yeah.
I just want to
You want to
explore things.
Yeah.
And has anyone played Northgard? 'Cause I also got really into that over the winter. It's kind of like Age of Empires type vibes, and you're kind of
Like
building
city
a little
builder, yeah.
civilization. Yeah, but it is incredibly fun. Oh, what is going on here?
Oh. Who's that?
Is that a baddie? Do I have to
think
go and
so.
shoot them with water? Hang on, I have to clear up. I have to do my civic duty. I can't just leave.
Oh, there's a little snail guy over there.
Oh.
Go around. Yeah,
Oh, they've
fire.
blockaded me. That's very rude.
Put the fire out. Put the fire out.
Oh,
Yay. Oh.
oh, the helicopter's throwing money at me. That's fun. But yeah, oil and gas in the UK as well is still a big issue, and lots of developments are still being built and approved, and it's all a bit tricky. But we're part of an alliance called the Ocean Alliance Against Offshore Drilling, who are lobbying government to stop approving these developments, because clearly if we want to hit net zero and sort of not damage the marine environment more, we need to be not investing in more oil and gas, which doesn't feel like something we should have to say at this point anymore, but apparently that is still necessary. Ooh.
So we touched on noise pollution. What other pollution affects the ocean and marine life, and whales and dolphins in particular?
Yeah, so I mean, in terms of oil and gas, chemical pollution is obviously a big one. So the spills can sort of damage skin, and if ingested, it makes animals sick. It can affect immune system, reproductive health. And another one that people be well aware of is plastic pollution. So I think it's something like 60% of all pollution in the ocean is plastic pollution. And a lot of it is runoff from the land as well. So I think on land, so many things happening at the same time.
Anemoia?
I'm going to save this while I explain.
I just noticed there's that cat statue with
gosh.
sunglasses on. Just there.
Oh yeah, what was I saying? Sorry. My brain is struggling to process so many different stimuli at once.
Chemical pollution and runoff from land, like fertilizers, pesticides.
So often we don't
Plastic pollution.
Yeah, perfect, thank you. So we don't think about plastic pollution on land and how it affects the ocean, but actually a lot of pollution sort of runs off from land and from our rivers, then it gets into the ocean, and also from landfill as well. You know, you see these horrible things of the big tankers. Oh, there we go. We're going to get a bigger one. Tankers sort of spilling all of their wares and cargo into the sea, and then that obviously ends up, a lot of animals will eat it, or they'll get kind of tangled up in it, which is a big issue. And something that we work on a lot at WDC as well is ghost gear, which is basically fishing gear that is lost or discarded, thrown into the sea. So obviously fishing is quite a sort of high risk and dangerous activity in a lot of places, and your nets can get kind of tangled and snagged on the ocean floor, or tangled in other nets. So you might actually, your fishing gear that you're using might get tangled in some ghost gear in the ocean. Oh, some dolphins. What should we invest in? Oh, don't quite have enough money. I'm sticking away from the speed, Gabby, because last time it was overwhelming. I was just zooming.
I think there was a little lobster guide that needs rescuing.
And this as well. But yeah, so ghost gear actually makes up a massive proportion of what sort of gets washed up on our shore. So clearly it's an issue at sea, and there is a requirement to kind of stay if you lose your gear, but a lot of the time it doesn't happen. Mirabelle. And a big part of this is that it's not actually free to dispose of fishing gear in a lot of places. So if you're a fisher and you find some gear in the ocean and you bring it back, you might end up having to spend, you know, potentially hundreds of pounds to dispose of it. So it just makes it really, really difficult. But that's why we're working hard on the issue to try and make it so that it's free and readily available around the UK, so that if people find this gear, or if their gear is so damaged that they can't use it anymore, they can responsibly and safely dispose of it on land and ideally recycle it.
Yeah, because it is quite similar to like
look at
land waste and recycling. Like in the UK, a lot of people are probably aware that, you know, recycling systems are different county by county. So like the county that I live in only very recently introduced food waste recycling, kind of curbside pickup, but it's been in my parents' county for years at this point. So it's very different, and it's kind of similar with the port authorities and different harbours and stuff, because they're kind of run by different local authorities or different organisations. What they have, like funding wise or infrastructure wise, is different. And so
absolutely.
There's no consistency across the whole of the UK in terms of what fishers and ocean users can do with their fishing waste. But then also when fishing gear gets lost or abandoned, a lot of the time it is because it's irretrievable by the fisher. Fishers don't want to leave their stuff in the ocean. You know, it's expensive kit for them, so they'll do everything they can to retrieve it if it's able to, or fix things if they get broken. But you know, there is some instances when it is just
it's not safe
or not possible, or it's just too costly for the fisher to be able to retrieve it properly. So there's lots of things that need to be improved, and that's where WDC is going to be trying to do what we can. One of the things that is exciting is that this World Ocean Day, all the funds raised from the Steam sale and from people streaming for us, is going to support kind of our global work protecting whales and dolphins, but we're also hoping to be able to fund a project with our partners in the UK who run dive missions to retrieve ghost gear from the sea. So it's kind of like providing that immediate fix whilst we work behind the scenes trying to actually get legislation changed.
And I think, oh no, not that one.
Oh, Dr. C's just asked, did the change of government have any impact on lobbying for change on these issues, or is it still the same?
Yeah, so it's sorry, quick question on the game. I appear to now have a magnet.
So I think you can use it to collect. And I think it said B, so that would be circle.
Okay.
So if you hover the magnet over that barrel, I think you can collect it. And
yeah, so it's a really good question, because obviously different governments have kind of different priorities in terms of what. Could we go back a bit? Ooh. They have. Oh my gosh.
Was it B? Did it
No,
say?
it's
Oh no,
X,
it says
it's
X.
X.
Okay.
Okay.
So X by so square.
Not the one that says X.
No, sorry.
That's why I'm getting confused. So it will have had an impact because different governments have different priorities. So what is helpful about this government is that they are very interested in what's called a circular economy, which is basically you don't just think about something at the point of use, you think about it the whole life cycle. So a wonderful circular economy for fishing gear would be we make fishing gear that's low impact and sustainable and from material where you can easily replace it and repair it, but when it is damaged and it can't be used anymore, you can recycle it or compost it or repurpose it. So that would be a circular economy. So the Labour government that was something they kind of prioritised in their environmental messaging. It's just very hard to do.
Yeah.
But we are working through coalitions like there's one called Wildlife and Countryside Link that's lots of NGOs to try and say to the government that a circular economy has to include fishing gear, because I think it's about 4,500 tons of fishing gear every year in the UK is estimated to become waste. And if it's not, if we can't recycle it, if we can't dispose of it responsibly, then it might just be ending up in the sea. And once it's in there, it's really, really hard to collect because it can get snagged and tangled on things, or it could just, wash away into the ocean miles from shore where we can't do much about it.
And that's quite a scary thing, really, in terms of it is a global issue. A net getting lost or discarded off a UK shore could end up on, North American shores.
Yeah.
It can just drift to, it is a global issue that needs to be looked at. And I think it was 11,000 tons of fishing gear or ghost gear in European seas every year.
Yeah.
I think I remember doing the maths and it was that's like the weight of the Eiffel Tower.
Yeah, it's something mad. And I think it's also worth bearing in mind, it's not just, I am going to get some more speed. It's not actually just an environmental issue because if you've got all of these nets tangling up the ocean, it's actually a safety issue for people in boats because it can get tangled in your propellers. And obviously if it's catching and killing fish, then it's affecting how much fish other animals can eat, but also how much humans can catch and eat. So it's just all around a bit of a nightmare. I've lost my water jet.
Triangle.
Oh my god, there we go. I was doing the north one. That was the
okay.
I just have to solve this fire. Yeah, so it's a really
it's like an economic problem as well.
Yeah.
Because, you're wasting so much money on manufacturing new nets and the damage it can cause to propellers on boats, and there's so many layers to the problem that it is quite a challenge to start thinking about how to tackle it. But we've done quite a few things already. We've done a big survey. It was 190 harbours and ports around the UK. We've done a survey to find out exactly how end of life gear is dealt with, to kind of understand the issue.
Yeah, exactly. And actually, as I was saying, I think half the issue is a lot of ports and harbours. You can't dispose of it, or you can't do it for free. So it's a bit like Sally was saying with the food waste, where if it costs you £20 a week to put your food waste in the bin, most people, even if they want to, can't necessarily do that. Or, as it was the case before, you couldn't even do anything at all, even if you wanted to pay. So you had to throw it in the bin. So it's a tricky issue, but Pina, our pollution coordinator, spoke to, I think, 40% of all ports and harbours in the UK. She did a great job and had many phone calls just to learn a bit more about what the reality is on the ground for fishers and for people managing the harbours, to try and deal with the issue. And we had lots of really great engagement with government off the back of that to say, here's the issues, here's some of the solutions, and it's been really, really great to see that research kind of in use.
Dr. C has said, I'm so glad WDC is working so hard on ghost gear. I feel like it was such an overlooked issue in plastic pollution for so long. Do you feel like it's getting enough media coverage yet?
I definitely feel like it could get more media coverage. I mean, I think Oh, it's very cute. I think half the challenge is it feels a bit like an invisible issue because, you know, so much of this is happening in the ocean far away from where people live. And, you know, a bit like with other kind of environmental issues, we can't see it in our everyday choices. So, you know, if we're buying a t-shirt, we can't see that, you know, perhaps it's been manufactured by someone who hasn't been paid properly and hasn't had, you know, their human rights respected. And it's kind of the same with fishing. We don't see that visible cost. So I'd wrong way. I'd love to see more coverage for it, and I think stuff like the Attenborough film is only going to help. How did I get that one? Square. This is reminding me of Wind Waker, if anyone's played it, Legend of Zelda, because you have a little treasure thing that you can...
Square.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Apparently, I do not have spatial awareness. There we go.
So I said that I think going back to when we were talking about how ghost gear is a global issue because it can drift across all the ocean to different areas. That's how the Great Pacific Garbage Patch started, with global currents pulling all this stuff into the same area.
Absolutely, and it's why we need kind of international efforts. So if anyone wants to go and read some techie documents, there's something called the Global Plastics Treaty, where governments are working together to kind of internationally reduce the impact of plastics, and there's a lot of discussion as well about how to make sure including stuff like fishing gear in that as well, because it is so relevant in the marine environment, and once it's there, so prevention is much easier.
Because that's another thing about fishing gear, is that because a lot of modern fishing gear is made of plastic these days, but it's also different types of plastic, and so like you've got different types of plastic being used in the ropes, but then you've got like rubber pieces, you've got metal pieces, we've got so the organisation that we're going to be funding through World Ocean Day, I went to go see them after one of their dive missions a few weeks ago, and they showed me what they'd found in the ocean that day, and it was like a whole trailer full of like old creel nets and reels of rope and nets and things, and they even found like homemade winkle catchers, and it was just like these 5-gallon plastic jugs that have been cut in half, and then they've woven like, I don't know what type of plastic it is, but plastic netting around the edge to make like a purse kind of top part, but then filled it with concrete underneath so it weighs it down. So then winkles are basically like sea snails. So they will walk over, fall into the container, but then they can't get back out on the net because the net's in the way and it stops them from being able to get back out. But like that's just like a homemade piece of equipment that is just made out of all sorts of different things, and it's just, you know, as you know from household recycling, you've got to separate. There's certain types of plastic that can and can't be recycled. You've got to separate your paper and your metals and your plastics. They've got to be clean and not contaminated and things. So it's just like, there's so many factors.
Yeah, I mean, as you say, it's a massive issue. So I think fishers do a great job at trying to kind of repair their equipment where they can. Partly because, you know, a lot of people, they don't want this to go kind of into the ocean, but also it's very expensive, a lot of this fishing gear. So as you say, people will repair it, but they'll use other bits of nets or other materials to do so. And then, you know, you imagine this sort of in the ocean for months or potentially years, it gets covered in bits of seaweed and barnacles, and it gets all kind of mucky. And then a lot of the time to recycle it, you actually have to have a person unpicking it with a pair of pliers and separating out the different materials. So it's really tricky to do, which I think is half the problem. So I think in the UK there's only a handful of places where, we're going to save this person. What do you reckon they're called? Lucille. Oh look, I just saw we had a little collection of all the people we've saved. So I think in the UK there's only maybe 2 facilities where you can recycle fishing gear. Kind of bigger centres, which just makes it really difficult. He keeps telling me to wash the
Oh, is it there's snow? Is that a different like thing you
I can't
can?
actually see any snow though. Do shout if anyone can see it. But yeah, it's a complicated issue, but it is really interesting, and yeah, we're working with people trying to manufacture some exciting new types of fishing gear that are easier to recycle and lower impact. So there's lots of different ways you can target it. You can think about, how do we make fishing gear that's easier to repair? How do we make fishing gear that actually uses less rope? And yeah, how do we kind of collect it and bring it back to shore?
If we went back to like traditional, before plastics, and it was all kind of like, I don't know, just like twine. Like,
yeah, a lot of it was you can have like cotton thread.
Would that be a?
It would be, yeah, it would be better. I think the challenge is when you think about, like commercial scale fishing with big vessels.
Needs to be strong.
A lot of it would just break. But yeah, the best way is going back to more kind of traditional pole and line fishing, which is more like labour intensive, but much less harmful in terms of waste, but also sort of bycatch animals getting caught in these nets.
Yeah. How does the ghost gear work kind of overlap with the bycatch work in terms of, because we've obviously got we'll go into it in more detail when so we've got Bianca, our bycatch coordinator, coming on stream next week to talk about last year's World Ocean Day impact and the projects in Sri Lanka. But is kind of ghost gear considered in our bycatch mitigation work?
So they are. It's really tricky because that yes and no. So they are separate issues. But when you think about, making recommendations to the fishing industry, absolutely, we make sure to talk about both. So an example would be in the UK, we have a bunch of marine protected areas where we've said, sorry, this is really cute. Look at all these little igloos. I'm loving it. Oh, okay. I have to save this little walrus. Wally. 10 out of 10. Excellent name. So yeah, we've got lots of areas in the UK that we've identified as really important for marine life, so they're protected. And there's often lots of... Oh, I'm just shoveling it around. Okay.
Oh, there must be someone looking for it.
Let's just bring it with me. Oh, there we go. It's telling me where to go. Oh, my oil is full. We're leaving that for now. That's annoying me. Yeah, so we've got these special areas that are protected, supposedly, and we advise on how they can make sure they're actually protected. And as part of that, we do have things we suggest. God, this area is absolutely trashed.
It's a good thing we're here.
Good thing we're here to look at all that. So much. Oh, that's so satisfying. Look at all that money. What should we invest in? Do we want more? I like the scoopy. Yeah. I'm just a sucker for the massive scoop. But yeah, so when we're recommending, we will suggest things for bycatch, but also for ghost gear, because it needs slightly different stuff, which I can talk about more if of interest. But whoa, look at that massive, terrifying ship. Right, we're going for this. Oh.
Can you get it all in one?
No, it's almost impossible to get all of it.
You need those bits.
Yeah, I
need
like
longer
sidebars
to be longer. That is a giant penguin chef statue.
Oh,
lovely.
Big fan. What do you reckon it's cooking?
Sushi.
Grill?
I mean, it's a penguin, so fish.
Yeah.
Fish and chips.
Penguin would probably love fish and chips. Got more stuff here to try and... Oh, look, this is who wants it.
Oh, the pirate.
Ah.
Of course he wants the treasure.
Yar. Oh, okay. I assume that just gives me more money, because it doesn't seem to give me a satisfying bong or anything.
I think when you deliver it, it kind of like disappears and you get money.
Okay, perfect. Good.
Ooh. So for those who might be new to WDC or our Games for Waves community and maybe isn't fully aware of like how marine pollution, things like entanglement and ghost gear, how does it actually affect whales and dolphins? Like, why is it such a threat? Because a lot of people don't realise that whales and dolphins are mammals and they breathe air, and that's quite a... Wow, it's a big... It's a whale!
Oh my gosh,
There he
a
is.
massive whale, multiple
I
big
thought
whales.
it was a big fish at first, but it's definitely a whale.
Oh, that's definitely a whale. Yeah, so in terms of the impact, there's two main things. So with ghost gear, it's just fishing gear kind of floating around in the ocean, and they can either get kind of tangled up in it, and that might actually sort of cause them to get so tangled they can't come back to the surface and breathe, and so they actually suffocate. It's a really sort of horrible way to die from a welfare perspective. Or even if they survive, often they might end up, having to swim with all this horrible stuff kind of tangled around them, possibly for months or even years. And that then, makes it harder for them to catch fish and find a mate and swim around. So it does have a massive impact. It's like if you
are
had to...
multitasking.
I'm trying to do so many. Yeah. Yeah, it's a bit like, imagine trying to go about every day and you just got all these nets tangled all around your arms, and also it can... a lot of the time it's actually sort of cuts and digs into the skin, and these kind of really painful cuts can get infected, so it's really dangerous. And the other thing that can happen is ingestion, so where they actually eat the fishing gear. So that might be because they just mistake it for food, or maybe they eat other fish that have got little bits of fishing gear or rope tangled on them. And what's really sad about that is that what is that?
Polar bear?
Oh, in the water.
I couldn't read what that name
alarming.
was.
And what's really sad about that is that if they eat this kind of rubbish, it can make them feel full because it fills their stomach. So, they're not getting the nutrition they need, but they feel full. Or, it can kind of get caught in their intestines, and it's all around just bad. So those are the two main things, kind of getting tangled in it or eating it. Neither of which are brilliant. So that's ghost gear. God, what was this smelly?
And bycatch. Similar entanglement issues.
Yeah, the entanglement issues. So they
suffocating and
yes,
cuts.
although they won't. So bycatch happens when the fishers are still fishing with the nets, so they won't eat. I guess they could, in theory, eat a bit of a net that's being used, but it's more likely that they'd eat something that's floating around that's been lost. But yeah, with bycatch, the same issue in terms of them getting kind of tangled in the nets and not being able to escape, and then often, kind of dying. I don't know if people saw Planet Earth 3. I think it was last year, also phenomenal, but they had a really heartbreaking episode where they showed bycatch. I think it was a sea lion, maybe Californian sea lions.
Yeah, it was sea lions, wasn't it?
Yeah, because they obviously were attracted to the nets which are full of fish, so they're thinking, great, loads of food here. So they all actually kind of were jumping into the... We're not going for this. Should we get speed? Oh, I'm feeling risky today. Let's do it. Ooh.
I think you can afford both.
Yeah.
You might as well get the other
Oh yeah,
as
that's
well.
a good plan. But yeah, so they thought it was, a great chance to get more food, and then ended up, getting trapped in these nets, which is really heartbreaking. But it's bycatch in particular is the biggest killer of whales and dolphins around the world. I think it's 300,000 estimated whales and dolphins are killed every year, which is unbelievable, and not the type of thing that anybody would think when you're ordering seafood,
Yeah.
and the fishers don't want it either, so it's a really important problem that we try and work together to fix.
Yeah. And we'll learn a lot more about that in detail next week. So we've got Bianca coming on stream. I'm not sure what game we're playing yet, but so if you have any bycatch specific questions, or you want to learn about the impact from the project funded by World Ocean Day last year, Bianca will be on stream next week with Matt to chat all about that.
And she does some really cool projects, so definitely tune into that.
Yeah, some really cool stuff, and she knows so much about bycatch. So Dr. C has said, I know that in animal welfare there are issues of lack of enforcement of policy legislation. Are there similar problems with enforcement on the topics we've been discussing today?
These are great questions. Yes, absolutely. So there is a requirement that if fishers lose nets in the ocean, that they report it, because obviously then government can know where are the hotspots and where do they need to invest in more action. And similarly for bycatch, there's a requirement to report, but basically no one does. I think there's been like 2 ever reported incidents of ghost gear in the UK, which is obviously ridiculous because it's a lot more happening. And there's probably a lot of reasons behind that. I think, you know, the forms online are probably really quite hard to use and clunky, and if you're on a fishing vessel, you know, the incentives to go home and do a bunch of paperwork when you don't. Oh dear. That feels not good.
No.
Do I have to just
I think you gotta
down?
just. No, it's just.
Is this helping?
I don't know.
Do I
Chase
just chase it? I'll chase it.
This is like a boss battle. Oh my
Yeah.
god, this is new. This wasn't in the demo.
I should have invested in
Got
the speed. I'm so slow now. Right, would you reckon I can
Go around the other
way?
side.
I'll catch you.
Tricky.
But yeah, so often it's,
I wasn't
you know, it's
expecting a
not
boss fight.
necessarily that fishers don't want to help. It's just that if it's a lot of paperwork and then they never see. Where's it gone?
Oh, there
Oh
it
my
is.
god.
Get ready.
Oh. Am I doing it?
Yes, you're filling in with water.
Is it going in? Oh, it is going in the thing. Okay,
Yeah.
yeah, I'll go around the other side. But yeah, it's not necessarily that fishers don't want to help, but if they can't see their data helping or informing, you know, support or plans, then, you know, oh, I am sinking it. Nice. And I completely missed it. Come on the other way. Then, you know, you can understand why you wouldn't want to spend hours and hours every week filling in this paperwork if you don't see how it's helping. Oh, come on.
Oh, so close.
It's nearly there. Should
Should have invested in speed. Shouldn't have
but yeah,
taken
that's
Gabby's
definitely
advice.
another piece of the puzzle is, you know, if we don't have information on where it is, it's really hard to say, right, okay, in this part of the country, we need to invest in X, Y, Z. Did I sink it? Oh, it's coming back. Come on. I'm way too slow at this. Right,
Just keep it on.
just keep it on.
Just drown
It's
yourself.
sort of, it goes up rather than forward. Dra-
Oh,
Oh, come on.
well, there's a
Oh
submarine
my
now.
gosh, that's persistent.
It's the oil and gas industry for you.
Yeah, this is what
Oh, you're doing it.
this is what we'd normally be doing.
Yay. Take that. Defeated the end boss.
Oh.
And he's. Oh,
Oh, okay. And it spilt stuff.
yeah.
Oh, there you go.
Creating a new reef with this horrible boat. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
shipwrecks do create new habitats, don't they?
They absolutely do. They're actually really valuable. And one of the things that's spoken about in the David Attenborough documentary is what's called sea mounts, which is mountains under the sea, which is awesome. And it just creates extra surfaces for, you know, crustaceans and seaweed and things to kind of latch onto. And yeah, it is actually, you know, quite a valuable habitat, which is why I think they don't, you know, go up and drag all these boats out the ocean.
Yeah.
And they make cool dive sites, I bet.
Yeah.
Oh. Sleeping.
Oh,
Oh.
is that our little house? I want to live in this world. It looks so nice. I think we did it.
Oh. Which one's button south?
Maybe the down button, but let's give the credits
Yeah.
some time. That was really fun.
That's really soothing. My favourite was, I liked putting the fires out. I don't know why, that just felt quite...
I was not expecting the. Oh, I think Nemet's a backer. We should look for Nemet's name when he gets to the ends. I'm pretty sure he said he backed this this game on Kickstarter.
Oh,
So,
nice.
one of our community members. What were we talking about?
Oh, we were talking about reporting and
Oh,
Yeah.
shipwrecks.
shipwrecks, yeah.
That was it. That's what I was gonna say. I was gonna say that even the bases of offshore windmills, wind farm,
Oh, what the actual stumps.
they like, because they're like kind of in concrete and stuff, right?
Yeah, they kind of it's called decommissioning, but they basically like chop the top bit off, and that is actually a really important part of the life
They
cycle.
turn into like reefy type.
Yeah, although
don't they?
I think it's only really just starting to happen because a wind farm, the life cycle can be sort of 20 to 30 years, and I think the first commercial wind farms have only really been big in the last 20 to 30 years. Don't fact check that. No googling allowed. So yeah, that's going to become more relevant as wind farms
Nice.
kind of
It'd be interesting to see kind of
phase out.
yeah, as we get to that point. Dr. C says that this game is definitely giving them some much needed eco-optimism, which is what we need. We're getting to the ends. Let's just see if we can see Nemet's name. I don't know if he is still lurking in the stream. Oh, Moon Eye Studios backed it. That's nice. We work with them.
Oh, Nemet spotted it.
Yay,
Yay.
Nemet!
Well, I think eco optimism is really important, and I think it can it can be easy to feel a bit hopeless, but actually I think there are so many people that care about this, and actually what makes me happy is I still remember as when I was 10 or whatever that I was the weird kid in the class who was always like, oh, I have to recycle that paper, miss, and then people would be like, okay, what are you talking about? And then actually I went to there was a march last summer called the Restore Nature Nut March in London, and I had tears in my eyes because, and I mean, it kind of made me sad, but there were like 10-year-olds who knew the word climate crisis and biodiversity loss, and I was like, nobody spoke about that really, not at school,
No.
There was an abstract mention of climate change in biology lessons, but it wasn't like a big deal, even though obviously it was. So that I think is really great. There's so much more public awareness, and the fact that the ocean film happened and was in cinemas and it's on Disney, is amazing, because if people know about things and people care about things, we can take action. And we've seen that, like the film talks a bit about the Save the Whale campaign in the 70s, where his name will come back to me later, but basically everyone learned about commercial whaling and how it was pushing populations like blue whales to the brink. I think they lost 98% of individuals. And they did a massive campaign, and then we got the moratorium, or the global ban on whaling in the 70s. And some countries do still whale, but it is much, much, much less than it used to be. And a lot of that is because of public campaigning and people caring about the issue. It was something Payne, Dr. Payne. Good dig into the work I do, my daily routine. Oh, so it's really mixed. So I've got a brilliant team who are specialists on the issues we work on in terms of bycatch and offshore developments, pollution and protected areas. So our work's actually really varied. We engage a lot with governments to try and get them to lobby them to take more action, really. In the UK, we also work internationally. There's lots of kind of international agreements on things like restoring biodiversity or addressing climate change, so we kind of fit into all of those discussions as well. And then we have some quite fun and slightly random things that are a bit more research based. So the Sri Lanka bycatch research, which I won't steal Bianca's thunder, she can talk more about that next week, but actually supporting new technology to reduce the impact of harms. And there's another sort of European project on trying to tackle ghost gear and tagging pots and nets that we work with. So it's really, really varied, and I very much enjoy that I get to bounce around between lots of projects and campaigns. And we also work a lot with other NGOs. So our focus is on whales and dolphins, but obviously things that affect whales and dolphins affect other things as well. And they're really like a champion species. It's not that we don't care about other marine life, but they're quite helpful to understand issues like fishing when you talk about these animals. Hopefully that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, I think one thing I was saying at the beginning before we went live was, a lot of people understand that NGOs are out on the field or out on the water doing things. Oh, is this what they mean about the...
Yeah, that's the snow.
Oh, you just fill in where it's missing.
Oh, you're adding snow.
Yeah. Okay.
Ah.
I'm just seeing if I can kind of finish off these little pieces.
Clean up my mess.
But yeah, there's a couple of bottles that I think are stuck on a mountain that I don't think we're going to get, but we'll see what we can do because we've still got about 50 minutes, 45 minutes of streaming left. But yeah, what I was saying before we went live was, you know, a lot of people kind of see the visible, practical stuff that charities do, but not necessarily the behind the scenes desk-based research and meetings, lots of meetings and writing reports and the stuff that kind of actually influences policy and legislation that is harder to
explain, but actually
it's so important.
It's the building blocks of change, because I think, you know, we can talk as much as we want about the issues, but actually if we've got a law in place that says, right, you know, if you're building an offshore wind farm, you have to build these bubble curtains to reduce noise, that is, you know, phenomenal impact that will be seen, you know, for years to come. And I think we're lucky in the UK as well that we have got some of those laws in place, and now it's just about trying to deliver on them. So for bycatch, there is a law that says we have to address it. Now it's just trying to support the work under that to make it happen. And yeah, a lot of we talk a lot in policy about what's called consultations, which is just when government comes and asks, you know, how do we make this policy better, or how do we actually protect this marine protected area from fishing? How do we make it safer? So we do a lot of, you know, reviewing kind of government policy and advising them on that, which I found really interesting. But it is a bit more kind of desk-based, as Sally said. It's less.
I think because it's like
there's a thing you can on the floor, sea floor.
Oh yeah. What was it? It was square, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's square.
Oh, I've got the same depth perception issues.
But yeah, it's really interesting. And when you think about, you know, policy, the public are really important, because actually, you know, obviously as well in dolphin conservation, we're going to tell government they should protect whales and dolphins. It's not a massive surprise. But if we get the public, you know, signing on to letter campaigns, writing to their MPs, their Secretary of State, that's how they keep their job, because we vote them in. So it's really, really important that we're kind of, as the public, calling for the change we want to see. There definitely is a lot more that can be done on the legal politics side, and I think it's an interesting space, as you mentioned, with a new government, because you've got completely different people and different priorities and motivations. So it's only been 9 months since the election, so I think a lot of the NGO world, we're still kind of figuring out what the priorities are and what we can influence. But it's been really, really interesting. I also actually, before this job, I used to work in UK government as the whale and dolphin policy lead in central government. So it's been, really interesting coming and working for an NGO. I would never have got to do this in my government job.
There's no games for Williams in government.
No, exactly. This is a definite work perk of working for an NGO.
But it's also amazing just to see, like, you know, this is a really fun game, but it is kind of sharing a really nice message, because it's kind of like, so we're also partnered on the game Lodonaut by Secret Mode, and then there's another kind of ocean cleanup game. I keep pressing the wrong button.
Yeah, this bit's quite hard actually. I'm not very, my depth perception is
now I'm kind of
tragic.
Oh, I keep squirting. Come on.
You're saying Lodonaut?
Yeah, Lodonaut is another ocean cleanup game. Why can't I get this?
You need to go. Oh, maybe it is more behind you to the left, back. So if you go forward and Oh, come on, surely. This honestly reminds me so much of Legend of Zelda Wind Waker, trying to get the treasure chests. I was really bad at that.
Yeah, there's certain things in games that are just like frustrating.
Just a nightmare.
But
I had, can you tell I really like Legend of Zelda? I was playing Ocarina of Time on the GameCube, and there was just this one bit. So Ganon, the main bad person, come back, and I had to shoot him with an arrow as he was jumping between paintings. Bonus points for anyone who knows that extremely niche reference. And I just couldn't do it. And I must have spent like an hour, and I just couldn't time the arrow. And the rest of the game was fine. I just couldn't. And it got, I think my partner sort of came back from, he'd been with his friends at the pub, and I was just there like almost in tears. He was like, "Are you okay?" I was like, I can't kill Ganon, and I've been trying for an hour, and I'm an adult, and I don't understand.
Yeah. I remember
very sad.
There was the like timed missions in the first Spyro game. One of them, I had like 99.9% completed the game, apart from this one thing that I had to do over and over and over again. So it was like muscle memory.
Really.
And then one day I just did it, and it was like, never again.
Yeah, delete. Yeah. Yeah. Well, last year as well we played, was it Flotsam?
Yes.
Is that in the sale this year?
Yes. I want to say. I think so. Pretty sure.
Well,
yes,
regardless, it was great. The only thing that made me sad was that I just about fully got the hang of all the various nuances, and then we had to end the stream. And heartbreakingly, I bought the game, but I didn't realise it was Windows only.
Oh.
So I was so excited to go home and play it. So I'll just have to come and do it here.
Yeah.
But that's really fun as well, because it's kind of world building stuff.
Yeah, it's like a city builder on the ocean, but you're using like ocean rubbish, really, like ocean pollution to build your stuff.
And you have to manage the swimmers, and it's like, do they swim to this site to try and find food, or
materials,
level that. I think we just kept tiring out our people,
and
then not getting food, and then we were like, oh, we're gonna die.
I think we started a little seaweed farming.
Because it was too hard to find food in the sea. Also, the thought of just like swimming into the open ocean looking for food fills me with horror.
Oh yes, Flotsam is in the sales. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was. I remember. Dr. C's got a big.
I mean, you can keep drinking.
Okay.
I'm
gonna read it out loud.
Yeah, so improvements in animal protection have often come after the right stories have created enough public concern to pressure governments, such as banning station captivity in Canada after the Blackfish documentary. I can see games becoming great tools for change and advocacy in the future. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, really, all these big things come from the public. I think even stuff like, net zero, the 2050 climate commitments, a lot of that has come off the public campaigning and caring about these issues. And the whaling ban as well came off. The Save the Whales campaign in the 70s was like the first big international environmental movement, and it worked, which is amazing. So I think people really do have power to do good, and I think it can feel quite overwhelming when you think just about yourself, but actually it's a whole community of people that you can influence and inspire. And I think I found it really nice actually. As a kid, I was always really massive on the environment, unsurprisingly. And as an adult, I've had friends come up to me and say like, "Oh, you'd be so happy, Emma. I, volunteered with this birds group or something." And I was like, obviously they haven't done that because of me, but they've kind of maybe thought about birds when they wouldn't normally, or I think you can have a really positive impact through your network. And I'm excited to see what the ocean documentary brings.
Because it's interesting how much of an impact, like, I remember when Seaspiracy first came out, and that had a lot of people, because that really did put Bycatch a lot on the map a lot more. There was a big segment in that doc about Bycatch.
And I don't know if anyone's heard of the Blue Planet 2 effect. So Blue Planet, and I can literally picture it now, there was this really, moving segment with a sea turtle that had a plastic
we
straw
forgot
up
this
its...
little guy.
No, what are they called?
Fred the Water Kit.
Oh, I'm so glad. I'm so glad we saved him. He's in a lovely area. Look at the trees in this little house. Oh. But there was that footage of the turtle with the straw up its nose.
Oh,
and it was absolutely heartbreaking. And people campaigned for it, and the Blue Planet 2 effect is quite well documented in literature, because it's public rallying behind this issue, and actually the government they announced a fund, the Blue Planet Fund, which is £500 million. And I
This
think,
guy as well.
oh my gosh, I've done a terrible job here.
Evelyn.
Evelyn. But yeah,
Oh, we've done all the animals. We've collected all the
Oh,
animals.
perfect. You just need to get all the bottles now. That's the hardest
There's
bit.
2 bottles stuck behind a cliff on the very last land that I don't think
I believe in you.
try. For the rest of the stream.
But yeah, £500 million for ocean restoration, and it's literally called the Blue Planet Fund. And that wouldn't have happened if it wasn't for that documentary. And that has been spent in countries around the world supporting sustainable fishing and conservation. So I hope there'll be an Ocean David Attenborough effect.
Yeah.
Off the back of it. And also whales were a massive part of it. I was amazed because obviously we all love whale dolphins here, but I'd probably say like a quarter of the footage of animals was actually of whales and dolphins, which was pretty amazing.
I've lost the plot of where I'm going.
Yeah, 500 million.
That's a lot.
That is absolutely wild. Oh, this is so beautiful.
No. I think there's one more area I have yet to. You got a very important question in the chat,
Ooh.
Emma.
How about any fun experience? Well, so I actually have seen humpback whales in Monterey, which was amazing. They didn't. This sounds bad. I loved seeing them. They didn't do a huge amount. They just kind of were near the boat for a while. But I was obviously nerding out and loving it. I was a big fan. I actually haven't seen dolphins in the UK. I've tried many times. I did once on a boat trip, very humiliatingly, scream the word dolphin. Everyone ran over and it was just a rock. But it was, to be fair to me, there was this little like island and then there was this little rock off the island. Because the waves kept splashing over it, it was like a grey hump that was appearing and disappearing. I was like...
It's quite. I find that when you go whale watching, you almost start hallucinating. Like the waves look.
It's horrific. Every single like little.
Because you want it
notch,
so
I'm
much.
Like, dolphin.
Yeah.
But yeah, the whales, that was pretty special. Where else have I seen dolphin? I think I saw a harbour porpoise and a common dolphin in Scotland, which was really cool. And in classic style, it was a work trip. So we had WDC hosts a marine forum for all our kind of volunteers who help. We have this amazing program called Shore Watch, where people will look for whales and dolphins from the shore and share information about where they're found in the UK. But obviously, the day after I left was when the orca came, and everybody saw the orca. But I was very proud of myself, because I was like, well, I'd rather they saw it than no one. So
yeah, that's good.
I contained my jealousy.
Just so you know, you're not alone in that. Every time I have gone and taken like guests up to our Scottish Dolphin Centre and we've gone on a boat to go and find the dolphins, we never do. But then literally the very next day, it's like dolphins everywhere.
You're the bad luck charm.
Yeah. So one day, I've seen dolphins and whales in other places and other times, but particularly taking, you know. I'm forgetting how to drive this thing now.
You have to get the last bottle.
I'm trying.
I believe in you. The thing is, now the pincers are so big.
Yeah. If I can scrape it along the... There we go. That's what I was trying to do.
Oh, favourite whale or dolphin? I quite like the Risso's dolphins. So they're a slightly more niche one, but they're really cool. So they're actually deep diving dolphins. We get them around the UK, and there's a protected area specially designated for them in Scotland, around the Isle of Lewis, because they're normally sort of found quite far offshore, because they dive really deep. But what's amazing about them is they're this kind of like medium pale grey colour with loads of these awesome white markings all over them, and it's actually because they eat squid deep under sea, and squid have loads of horrible hooks and barbs to protect themselves. So it's from all their battles with squids, they have these amazing markings, and it also means you can distinguish between them a bit more easily from a research perspective. But they're pretty awesome. And sperm whales as well, they just look silly.
I love sperm whales.
Yeah, I just didn't
Everyone,
know.
anyone in our community who has ever heard me talk about whales and dolphins know that I am a nut for the sperm whales. I love them so much.
They're
I
just
think they're so
bizarre
cool.
looking.
They look like aliens. But
Yeah,
they're also like super gentle giants.
and their skin is wrinkly.
They're just lovely.
They're so
They're
weird.
lovely, but then they have these epic battles with giant squid and
Yeah,
the ocean depths, and like their hunting techniques are so cool, and they're just I mean, I'm sure you could eventually clip together like an hour's worth of me talking about sperm whales on stream. That's all I talk about.
they are cool. And humpbacks as well, but they're the kind of like they're the glamorous pop stars of
Yeah.
the whale and dolphin world because they
sing.
splash around and they flail their arms and
And they actually
Yeah.
legitimately sing as well,
They
so they
do
are
sing.
pop stars.
they also what's really cool is they sort of so they'll have a song and it sort of changes every sort of season, but if you map it around the world, they sort of the songs like pass across different groups, but the humpbacks off Australia produce the catchiest songs, so they're the songs that most other groups that kind of migrate past them will pick up the catchy tune and then they'll sing a version of that. So Aussie humpbacks are the superstars
I
of
think I might have got it.
Oh, so there's the bit you can spray it
Yeah.
and then it'll become.
There's also this bottle. No! Oh my god, is it lost forever? It's somewhere in here.
Oh,
Oh.
almost. But yeah, humpbacks are pretty cool. Has anyone ever read White as the Waves? It's a novel written from the perspective of a sperm whale retelling Moby Dick from his perspective. I think it's out
Oh,
now.
that
It's great.
sounds interesting.
I haven't read that, but that does sound amazing. And if anyone is looking for another book, How to Speak Whale by Tom Mustell is really cool because it's all about whale communication and science to try and understand how whales communicate. But there's some quite interesting ethical debates it opens up because, you know, in theory we can communicate with whales if we can replay greeting sounds back, but then there's a whole question of should we, because are we then introducing like cultural pollution? Are we affecting their language and their culture? So that's a whole other interesting debate. But that book sounds amazing. Please do tell us more about it in the chat.
Yeah, you have to share about it in the Discord, Dr. C, so everyone can. I don't know if I'm going to get this last bottle. It's like wedged.
Is it? Don't think we should show whales our culture. What would they think? Yeah, of some of the TV shows. Oh,
Come on.
Oh, careful.
I think it's like stuck. Every time I'm like catching it, I'm like tensing up my legs. Get out!
Oh, you've flipped it back now. Are there more bits where you can put the snow on it?
I could have a look.
Actually, you could almost invest in some stuff. Well, not
Yeah,
quite.
I think this bottle might just be like stuck in the mountain.
Oh no, there it is.
Yeah, but I think it's
Oh.
like stuck.
No, I
'cause
believe in you. Yeah, so the AI stuff is cool because
yeah, I think
to
it's-
analyze language, you need to have loads and loads of data, and obviously whales are really hard to find, and then they're under the sea most of the time when they're kind of vocalizing. But there's a project, it's called the SETI project, where they're collecting loads of vocalizations underwater, and then they're filming with loads of drones to see what they're doing above water, so they can actually understand, you know, what sounds they're making and what are they doing. Are they with mates? Are they with their offspring? To try and understand it a bit better. And that's the big focus of the How to Speak Whale book is this kind of research project, which would be really cool. But yeah, I think the question around how we communicate and how we use that information is really important, because I don't know, for instance, that we should be figuring out how to say like warning, get out the way, and then projecting that from the front of boats. I just feel like that might not be great. That might just introduce more stress and be opening a bit of a can of worms there. But it's really interesting.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of
Absolutely.
AI stuff as well on monitoring. So half the issue is that we often don't know where these species are. So how can we protect them if we don't know where they are? But there's some cool projects looking at satellite images. So obviously you get kind of snapshot of the ocean and seeing if AI can actually identify whales and dolphins because obviously getting someone to manually look at all those photos across the whole world would be really, really hard. And take forever. But yeah, the AI stuff is cool, but definitely more advanced than my uses of AI, which is like, please suggest me vegetarian dinners. I have a carrot, halloumi, and celery. Please. It's actually all right for stuff like that, like generic cooking stuff. It's pretty helpful.
But I don't know. It's hard to know how far you can rely on AI.
Yeah, not with anything like the fact stuff is not
great.
It's
still quite early in.
It does also make stuff up.
Yeah.
Which is interesting. But I think if there's like lots of information on a topic, like what's the weather like in France in July, and you're saying.
What was Gabby doing? Gabby was doing. Oh, she was writing our e-newsletter for Games for Waves. So we have an e-newsletter for Games for Waves now.
Nice.
And I think tomorrow, one of our first ones are going out. And you have like the alt text on images for accessibility, so people who can't see or download the image, they can read or get e-readers to read out the description of the image so they can understand what is being displayed. And at the end of our e-newsletters, we have a picture of me and Gabby together saying, from Gabby and Sally, from the Games for Waves team. And we're wearing our like pink tie-dye Games for Waves t-shirts. And the MailChimp like AI had done a automatic alt text to describe a picture of me and Gabby together, and it said something like 2 girls stood next to each other with t-shirts that say "Chances for Miracles," and one is holding a chicken.
Amazing.
And it's like
Chances for Miracles.
We were just like, maybe we should rename Games for Waves Chances for Miracles.
Chances for Miracles,
and have a chicken as our mascot. But in like conservation, it could have really practical implications.
There was a talk that I wanted to go to last week on AI and conservation, but I couldn't because I had another meeting. But they sent a recording, so maybe I'll listen to that in the next few weeks and I'll come back with all the answers. But I think for the processing of large scale data for things like monitoring and data analysis for conservation, it's just phenomenal what it could do. And that I think is where it has a real clear, tangible impact. Whereas
Secret Raid are live right now, and they finish at 5. So yeah, we could raid out soon because the game. It was a short game, and we knew that. So I know we normally stream around 2 hours, but
we're just too good.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
We wrapped up all that. Pop that one bottle.
Yeah, this is like us at work. 10 a.m. We're like, sorry, we've saved the whales.
Yeah, we're done.
And we go home. We've sorted it. There's no more issues.
But no, thank you so much for joining the stream.
Yeah, it's been fun. Thanks for having me.
We'll definitely have to get you on. Maybe we can,
Flotsam.
Flotsam
and I have got unfinished business.
Okay.
I just figured out how to play the game, and then
maybe we'll have
I'm
to.
very sorry, you have to go home now.
Arrange to stay late at the office.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
Just
play games.
5-hour stream. Thank you so much for joining. Thank you for sharing all your wisdom and knowledge and answering chat's questions about all the work that you're doing. If anyone in chat has any other questions that you want to ask Emma, just pop them in the Discord. Me or Gabby or Matt can grab Emma and ask her and find out the answer for you. If you have anything else that you want to share, again, drop in our Discord. We'll be having the VOD on YouTube later this week, so if you missed the stream, you can, or if you're just tuning in now, you can catch us. The VOD will be on Twitch, but also will be memorialised on YouTube forevermore until something happens to YouTube. But thank you so much. Super exciting that we are partnered with Spilled. So if you buy Spilled anytime, 10 cents per sale from Steam is donated to WDC. Please do support the game. It's a wonderful game. It's a labour of love from the developer who's been working on it for a good number of years, and she lives on a boat. She developed it from a boat, like a little narrow boat.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah, so she it's amazing. It's a really cute game and has a lovely message, and it's going to be in our Steam sale for World Ocean Day. So from the 5th to the 12th of June, we're going to have over 200 games on sale for World Ocean Day. All games will be pledging a percentage of revenue from that sale to WDC. And we're having our streaming festival at the same time. So if you're a streamer or you know a streamer who is interested in fundraising for charities or supporting conservation or loves the ocean, please do share the news about our World Ocean Day Festival and get involved, hop in our Discord, join the pod. And that's everything.